Yeah, 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 come and take a look at the snow. Bright white as far as your eyesight goes. Come and take a look at the fields of snow. I'll just get my coat, then we're good to go. Come and take a look at the lake. Let's have a quick skate before it gets late. Come and take a look at the frozen lake. Put your clothes on, mate, don't make that mistake.
Greetings, holiday shoppers. There are now 213 shopping days left until Christmas, and I think you know what that means. That means it's time for another episode of Christmas Creeps, your one-stop shop for holiday movies and TV shows all year round. Hi, my name is Joseph Wade. I will be your host for this evening. Here with me tonight are my co-hosts, Johnny Five, the human robot.
Hello.
Hello, John. How are you?
Suicidal, maybe?
You too, huh? That's great.
Yeah.
And also Mr. Bradford is here as well. Brad.
Oh, wait. Just one moment.
Well, I mean, two good turns deserves another. Oh, boy.
I'm mostly joking. I'm not suicidal. Like I said before, this movie made me want to, go to someone else's house and, punch holes in their drywall.
Oh, that's a thing in this movie.
That's oddly appropriate, yes.
I see what you did there.
Very clever. Very, very appropriate, yes. Tonight on the show, we are returning to a series that we haven't touched in 5 years. And I honestly thought I would never see the day where we'd have to return to this mess. But here we are. Tonight, we're discussing from 2005 a TV film, direct to CBS, titled The Christmas Blessing, also known as Christmas Shoots 2 Shoes Harder.
Also known as The Brotherhood of the Traveling Shoes.
Also known as Star Wars Episode 7, The Shoes Awaken. Good God, friends. What did we do? Why are we here?
This is the road to 100.
Yes, we are now officially on the road to 100.
I was informed. We're going to call our shot right now. I was feeling pretty good that I finished this movie a couple days earlier than usual. I was feeling real good about myself. And Joe informs me that the next movie we're doing is the sequel to this movie.
Oh boy, oh boy.
In a way, I'm excited to see where they can go from here, honestly. Because...
Man, it's better than anime.
You say that, but...
Turnabout is fair play, Brad.
I mean... Tokyo Godfathers is a very good movie, and I believe one of the only 5.5s that we've given a film on this show. Thank you very much.
Yes, and as of this recording, it is just about to finally get a Blu-ray release, and I cannot wait for that. I'm picking one up as soon as I can.
Joe Wade likes an anime. It's a Christmas miracle.
Yeah, heard it here first. But no, friends, we are indeed going down the Christmas shoes rabbit hole once again. Once more, unto the breach. First impressions, Christmas Shoes 2. I was going to name check somebody, but no, just whichever one, whenever the spirit strikes you in the face.
First impressions. The first impression that this movie, there's so little that happens during this movie, but there's so much to talk about. I don't know. The thing you have to know about this movie is, thank goodness it's only an hour and a half, because I guess it's a TV movie. That's probably, 2 hours when they pad it out with commercials? Maybe 2.5?
Sounds about right, yeah.
The thing about this movie is that, if you are planning on watching this movie, let me put this caveat in. If you are planning on watching this movie, God forbid, do not read a plot synopsis and let it wash over you. I read the plot synopsis, and I was spoiled, and I cannot imagine what the last 30 minutes of this movie is like if you had not read a plot synopsis.
Now, Brad, follow-up question. Had you seen the original Christmas Shoes?
I have not.
You're familiar with it, though, correct?
I am familiar with the song. I'm mostly familiar with the song through Patton Oswalt's wonderful bit about the song.
Yes.
So yes. I know the overall broad strokes of the plot, which I assume they added some subplots to the movie to pad it out, but otherwise...
Here's what you need to know about the movie that's not in the song. Rob Lowe plays a grumpy lawyer. And
right.
He's the guy who buys the shoes.
He's the narrator of the song, basically.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah,
Yes.
no, I knew that. I knew that much, and we were treated some flashbacks in this movie. Couple of other points. What was it? Where was I going with this?
I don't.
Hell.
If you're gonna watch this movie for some reason, do not read a plot synopsis.
I would go the other way and say definitely read a plot synopsis. Otherwise, you will want to like do property damage.
That's why I wanted to feel that feeling. I knew it was coming, so
And I almost feel like the way this plot turns is entirely done on purpose, because I watched this for about 45 straight minutes and absolutely nothing had happened. And at the exact moment that I got onto my phone and complained to both of you that nothing had happened, everything immediately happened in this movie.
Yes,
at
the
once.
same thing. I went on the chat to complain this movie is just a big fat nothing, and then immediately the fucking kid falls over dead.
Yep. Okay, so
I
the thing
apologize for laughing, but I'm going to have to laugh a lot in this episode or else I'm never going to get through it.
So, couple things. We do have a dead mom alert. In fact, in a first for this program, we have, ladies and gentlemen, a double dead mom alert. And a dead child alert. I think some of the horror movies we've watched on this show have a lower body count than this film.
Probably. Like,
How many kids or how many folks did that little twerp kill in what's that movie that's kind of Home Alone but not, and John hated it, and I thought
Better Watch Out.
Better Watch Out. He killed two people, right?
2 people.
Yeah. So the thing you need to know about this film is that for the first 45 minutes, it follows the Hallmark Christmas movie formula pretty much to the letter.
Let's
Except
spell out
it
this
might-
is not a Hallmark movie, though.
Yes, it is not.
No.
It was on CBS, but it follows the made-for-television Christmas movie formula pretty much to the letter, except it's gender swapped, I guess you could say.
Sort of.
Where we have like so we have Neil Patrick Harris playing. Can you give me a name?
Nathan Andrews.
Nathan Andrews, who is the kid who gave the shoes to his mom in the original Christmas shoes,
Which-
right?
You think
Yes.
that should be a spoiler, but it's revealed in the first 5 fucking minutes
The
of the movie.
Christmas shoes appear 42 seconds into this film, just so you know.
Yeah.
It's not a big secret.
Listen, I'm going to keep referencing Star Wars because I think it applies. The first thing we discover is that the Christmas shoes have vanished.
No, we
Yeah,
know where
that's-
they are. The first thing we know is that they're in the trash at the church.
I
Yeah.
know, and that they are taken, and Neil Patrick Harris is searching for them. But in Star Wars terms, they have vanished, just like Luke Skywalker.
Okay. My first thought was, why is there a dumpster outside of the front of the church? But then when it's revealed that it's a donation box.
Right.
So our dramatis personae for this are the guy in the original Christmas shoes, played by Neil Patrick Harris. Give me his name one more time. I'm not going to
Nathan
remember
Andrews.
it.
Nathan Andrews.
Nathan Andrews, and we have his sad dad.
Who
Who
is
is-
Sad Dad from the first movie, the same actor, Hugh Thompson.
Yes. Okay. He runs a garage, and there's a
Jack.
lady who wants to jump his bones, and he's completely oblivious to it.
Yeah, Dad's accountant, I'm guessing, is...
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And then, so, following that Hallmark sort of thing, he's a big shot surgeon, and he's
Which
questioning
let's just pause right here. If you're going to put Neil Patrick Harris in your movie and make him a doctor, you know damn well what you're doing when you do that.
I mean,
Yes.
he signed up for it, so he obviously doesn't. He's obviously not too traumatized by his Doogie Howser days.
This was still in that part of his career where he was known for primarily 2 things, playing Doogie Howser and a space Nazi. So, yeah, let's get him to play Doogie Howser again. Why not?
It would have been a very different movie if he had played reprised the space Nazi.
Yes.
Did Doogie Howser ever do surgery on the show? He was just a general practitioner, right?
No, he is a surgeon in Doogie Howser.
Greetings, holiday shoppers. Bradford here. The potato that I usually record this show on decided to eat all of the audio for this section. So as my punishment, I have to sum up what audio was eaten. In this section, we go through the rest of the characters that are peppered throughout this film. We're introduced to a drifter dad, who we're going to commonly refer to as Drunk Dad, who is the father of the child lead of this film. He is the one who pulls the eponymous Christmas shoes out of the donation bin, and thus begins a magical journey. Nathan decides to quit his job at the hospital after losing a patient on the table, and decides to move back in with his father in his hometown. We also make a startling revelation as to the nature of this movie.
Christmas is absolutely incidental to the plot of this film. To the point where even Drunk Dad kind of acknowledges the fact.
We try to figure out how a pair of shoes in a specially decorated labeled box can end up in a donation bin.
Well, here's the answer to that question. He definitely threw them away on purpose.
No, I think it was just Christmas magic. It's the same way that a hole in the drywall appeared under the barometer.
Well, but no, because that's kind of one of the whole conflicts of the movie is that Dad is trying his best to move on. Like, he's trying to sell the house. He's trying to sell his garage. He's getting rid of the Christmas shoes. He wants to forget all of that. Meanwhile, his son refuses to forget any of it. Like, it's pretty cut and dry as far as that's concerned, I think. So he's basically just lying to his son, like, oh, I guess they just disappeared, whatever. He doesn't particularly care.
Love is in the air as our main protagonist meets a very special lady.
But then Doogie Howser, working at his dad's garage, meets the love interest for this film, a new teacher in town named Megan, played by Rebecca Gayheart.
Named Peggy Hill.
From Texas. And she enters the film learning Spanish on a Discman, a 2005 chrome-ass, bulbous-ass Discman.
She's like, Buenos dias, ¿dónde está la biblioteca?
So they have their meet cute, and this, I mean, I'm going to gloss over a lot of this because none of it matters. But basically, this is the first half of the film is them kind of having, you know, a relationship, them going on dates and stuff. And it's fine. It's all fine.
Yeah, it's basically a Hallmark movie, and the strongest emotional response I had during this movie was really missing margaritas. We get into the finer details of purchasing and watching a movie from 2005 that pretty much nobody is interested in viewing anymore.
Listen, you motherfuckers should be thanking me. Because the DVD starts with previews for other crap like this, and guess what? You can't skip them. You have to watch all of them in their entirety. And guess what? For Christmas Blessing, one of them was Christmas shoes. So I got to relive that experience.
An ad for the other DVD in the case?
No, the only one that was included, the only other DVD in the list of previews was Christmas shoes. Everything else was
and
just
it's
other
in the case. You bought that 4-pack I linked, right?
Yeah. The 4-pack of movies. So guess what, guys? I own 2 copies of Christmas shoes now because fuck me.
Fucking get owned. Let's just point out that Christmas Creeps only tacitly endorses piracy.
We are also introduced to the child lead of the movie named Charlie, played by one Angus T. Jones, who we are going to refer to throughout the rest of this episode as Half Man. It should be noted, this is not our joke. He originally starred on 2.5 Men before going ultra fundy, which brings us up to our current conversation when my computer pulls itself out of the toilet.
Explain to me the plot of 2.5 Men.
2.5 Men is a show about a guy and his son who get kicked out of their house, and they have to move into the guy's brother's house. And the guy's brother is like a Hollywood jingle writer / ladies man who is always drunk and always sleeping with somebody. and it's about the wacky sex shenanigans they have while trying to keep all the wacky sex shenanigans away from the kid. That's the whole show.
Except Charlie Sheen is the degenerate brother. John Cryer is the dad.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Charlie Sheen on that show claims to have written the theme song to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yes.
And that's only funny if you know that show was created by Chuck Lorre, who actually did write the theme song to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Okay.
Whatever, let's move on.
All right. We've gotten a full education here. I'm ready for my degree.
This kid, whose name is Charlie, because of course it is a new kid at school. So you right away, okay, he's a special kid, but he's also special for other reasons.
Can I read the entirety of the IMDb trivia page for this movie? It will take 30 seconds, if that.
Do it.
1. This movie is a follow-up to Christmas Shoes. 2. Hugh Thompson reprises the role of Jack Andrews from Christmas Shoes. 3. Neil Patrick Harris also played a doctor in Doogie Howser. 4. Rob Lowe reprises his role as Robert Layton from Christmas Shoes. 5. Wanda Cannon and Sean Johnson later shared the screen together in the TV series Heartland. I lost my number of track. Angus T. Jones' character in this movie is named Charlie. Isn't that funny? You know 2.5 Men? The end.
I could have told you most of those, having zero familiarity with Doogie Howser or Christmas Shoes.
Well, we just spent like half an hour explaining everything that's on that page, so boy, do we need to move on.
It's incredible. There's only one goof listed, and it's not even the goof I mentioned earlier, so that's even worse. So we go to the class, that's when we get introduced to Charlie, and the teacher, who I thought she was just going to be a shitty Spanish teacher, but apparently she's a shitty general teacher, because that kid's supposed to be in like 4th grade or something.
Yeah, like when you're that young, like the teacher is responsible for, the one teacher is responsible for everything.
So they're doing Cinco de Mayo, and because this is 2005 and it's white people, it's that offensive, basically.
Well, there's a cover of La Cucaracha playing to begin with, so that tells you everything you need to know about this scene.
And she asks the kids what's Cinco de Mayo, and Charlie says, it's the Mexican Independence Day. And she says, yes, the most important Mexican holiday. What's wrong with that exchange?
A lot of things.
Every single fucking part of it.
Oh, Lord.
And all I can say is that when you're a child, it's easier to tell a child it's an important Mexican holiday than to say, well, tequila companies invented that holiday so they could sell tequila to Mexican restaurants to sell to white people.
Not to mention, most of Mexico is wicked Catholic, so I would say Christmas and Easter definitely come before Cinco de Mayo, like from the drop. So there's that.
Cinco de Mayo is the celebration of the victory of the first Battle of Puebla against like the French forces, which they fucking got. The Mexican forces got absolutely destroyed at the second battle a year later, and Mexican Independence Day is like in September, I think.
Yeah. I was just gonna say the Mexican Independence Day is September 16th, I think. But who cares about Mexico? This is America, damn it.
But it's the kind of thing you'd see in like a joke thing like Futurama or something like that, where its characters are intentionally getting facts wrong and agreeing with each other about the intentionally wrong facts.
She's also wearing a sombrero and a poncho in this scene, if you really want to bring it on home.
She's also holding 2 maracas and wearing a fake mustache, right?
Not quite that. Or it's like, maybe it's not a poncho, but it's like one of those shawls.
Like a serape or whatever it's called.
Serape, yeah, that's the one.
She's about to fucking sell me ammunition in BioShock.
She's wearing 2 bandoleros and smoking a cigar.
Who can tell me about Cinco? It's December 7th. Who can tell me about Cinco de Mayo?
Well, yesterday was Star Wars Day. I can tell you about that.
Oh, all right.
God damn it! You mentioned Star Wars Day. Now Disney owns the fucking podcast.
Oops. Hey, Disney. Cha-ching, cha-ching. Come on.
Welcome to our family-friendly podcast. Please check out Zenimation, available now on Disney Plus. We took we repurposed a bunch of animation and put sound effects over it. Zenimation, exclusively streaming on Disney Plus.
Bob Chapek, please don't fire me.
They're going to lock us in the vault and never let us out. They're going to build a real vault just to lock us in it.
Good. We can finally fucking watch that Song of the South.
We're gonna be like the Warner Brothers and the Warner sister.
Okay. I get to be Wacko.
I'll be Dot.
Can I be Hello Nurse?
Yes. All right, we are getting very off track. Let's blast through the rest of this because the last half of this movie hits you like a Mack truck. All right.
Okay. So the kid is the drunk dad's son, and they move into town, and the dad is like I guess he says he does chores on estates, which I think he just means he's a handyman / grifter.
He's just doing odd jobs. Every single scene, he's like doing something with leaves. He's either pulling leaves out of gutters or like raking leaves. So he's a drifter.
Well, he says he works on he says his dad works on big estates, which basically means he's a drifter doing odd jobs. And when we see them, they're like sweeping up leaves at a house, and then they're putting Christmas lights on said house, and
they're robbing said house.
His dad definitely does rob people because you see him like try to break into a car. He checks the car's handles to see if the car's unlocked.
They don't really address that after that one off, do they?
No,
I mean, if he had any sense, he'd put the kid in an elf costume and just do Bad Santa.
Yeah. We're treated to a bunch of backstory with this character. He reveals that his ex-wife is dead. She died in a car crash. Literally, you cannot telegraph this anymore. He's sitting in a bar drinking, and he pulls out a newspaper clipping that says, waitress dies in single car crash.
Yeah.
And also, here's a fun quote from Half Man earlier in the movie. I hate not having a mom. To give you an idea of the quality of writing of this movie, I've got one other really great example, but
the kid doesn't know his mom is dead, though.
He does not know his mom is dead because his dad has been lying to him the entire time, saying she's a dancer, and those are his dancing. Oh, he finds the shoes and he asks about them, and Grifter dad tells him those are his mom's shoes, and his mom is a famous dancer.
And then the kid's like, but I thought she was also a famous Broadway star, and also a famous Hollywood actress, and also a famous singer.
He's like, she can be all of those.
Dad's just like, yeah.
Yes, and I hate not having a mom.
He says to NPH, who moves back home and gets basically shanghaied into volunteering at the school by his grandmother. Because that's a thing you can just do in 2005. Just show up at the school and be like, "Hi, I'm here now. Show me to the children."
Hi, I'm a single adult male in my middle age. Please direct me to the children.
Direct me to the nearest child playing basketball, please.
Please direct me to the young nubile children. I mean,
middle
young
age.
children.
Middle age. He's 28.
You know what I mean.
But like, as soon as he comes back into town, like NPH immediately starts working at his dad's garage. And then he's like hanging out with the kids, playing basketball with them at school. And then he just driving home, he just sees Half-Man sweeping up leaves in a yard. He's like, "Hey, can I help you?" Like, does he just hate being bored or something?
We're playing in leaves.
Hooray. He also never mentions that he's a doctor. He's like, "Oh yeah, I take some first aid classes and I work in my dad's garage."
And this is the central quote unquote conflict to the hallmark part of the plot, where he is dating the teacher lady, whose name you will never make me remember, so I'm not going to bother.
It's Meghan Markle.
Megan is angry at him because he had hidden that part of his past, basically, that he was a surgeon. Oh, no, you're dating somebody with a very, very high earning potential. So angry that you lied to me.
But it's also one of those fucking bullshit things where, in a world that makes sense and is real, if you hear someone say like, "Oh, you find out that someone you know is a surgeon but doesn't want to talk about it," you're like, "Oh, some shit went down."
Yeah, exactly. If you have half of a pea brain, you're like, "Okay, they obviously do not want to talk about this. They're going through some shit. I'm going to give them some space."
I mean, it's kind of like the thing that always like fucking like irritates me. If you see someone at work who's like really dragging ass and like looks like they're like feeling like shit or like falling asleep or whatever,
your first result they're a hangover.
No. What I'm saying is your first like response shouldn't be, "Wow, you're a lazy piece of shit." It should be like, "Hey, you don't look well. Is something wrong?" Because just like basic human empathy, you should assume that somebody is like, you know what I mean?
Having a bad time.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Yeah. No kidding.
But also we need to pump the fucking brakes here, because the scene where she finds out he's a doctor is
Oh, when the kid dies.
The fulcrum of this film, where I immediately started shouting at Brad in our Discord channel. Because right before this, I had started texting Brad saying, man, it's been 45 minutes and nothing is happening. And then the kid fucking falls flat on his face and he's in the hospital because he has a bad heart. And now I feel terrible about myself.
So if you imagine, this is a car analogy. This movie has spent the first 45 minutes in first gear. It immediately shifts it into the highest gear possible. And it's just
like
grinding.
It's like your Sunday driving. You're like, what does the switch that says VTEC do?
Yes. Where's the turbo button?
It shifts from first into fifth, and then the engine immediately jumps out of the hood of the car and starts racing itself down the street.
Pretty much. Oh, boy. So the kid has a bad heart.
We have a sick kid alert here, and you're like, oh, that's where this film is going to go. That's tragic, and that's terrible.
That's what you're going to do with this. But no, just wait. Wait.
Hold your horses. Buckle up, hold your horses, and get fucking ready.
Oh, boy.
Because at this point in the film, the doctor attending to the kid looks at Nathan and says, oh, welcome back, doctor. And then Megan looks at him like, what?
No, he says, I hope this means you're coming back.
Right.
Which is again another like siren go off your head. Oh, some shit went down.
Right. So, but also small part of this plot is they don't immediately recognize him as a surgeon because he insists that Charlie. Nathan insists that Charlie is taken to this hospital because he can get better care there than whatever regional hospital is in the town. So
right.
that's why
it's his hospital.
Yeah, it's a couple hours away, and that's why she or the community doesn't immediately recognize him and know that he's a surgeon. Although I guess most of the townies, it's implied that they do, but she's new to the town, so she doesn't know, I guess.
But so the doctor is explaining to them what's wrong with this kid, and he basically says he has an enlarged heart. When he was 3 years old, he had surgery to fix it, but they didn't fix it quite right, and now he's getting worse. And then Megan turns to the doctor and says, but what's wrong with him?
Why male models?
Oh, good Lord.
Karen. Do we have any openings in the hearing lab?
Is there an audio tech that can help us out with this?
Karen refused to watch this movie, so she's not here right now.
Oh, not that Karen, but okay, yeah. Our Karen made the smart choice.
Yes.
What was she watching while you were doing this, John?
She was watching Dimension 20. Which sounds like a much better time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So that happens. Also, during the entire movie, but I guess for some reason they devote more time to this. The sad dad, Neil Patrick Harris's dad, is selling his garage, and his accountant is wanting to jump his bones the entire time, and he's completely oblivious to it. So that is also happening during all of this, and it just adds to the dissonance. Also,
Megan wants to open up a daycare sitter at a house across the street from the school.
Kid's house.
Which she's trying to get a home loan for, that's why she goes to her friend, Rob Lowe, and because he's a lawyer and can possibly help her out. And he's like, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
And in this scene, I thought it was crazy that so Nathan and then Rob Lowe's character, whose name I guess is still Rob. I forget.
Yeah, it's Leighton. It's not the guy from Da Vinci Code, but it's very close.
It's the guy from the Nintendo games, right?
Yes.
So they're both playing it cool, and they're both acting like they don't know each other.
It's fucking Mel Gibson and Danny Glover and Maverick.
Yeah, they're acting like they don't know each other, and I assumed it was for her benefit so that he can keep not telling her who he is.
Well, I think they really don't. I think they actually don't recognize each other. But Rob Lowe's basically like, "Hey, don't I know you from somewhere? Aren't you from TV? Yeah, did you play a doctor on TV?"
Yeah, Rob Lowe straight up just forgets who Nathan is. This kid, who he later says changed his life, he forgets what this kid looks like.
Well, also that took place 20 years ago, because this movie is one of those movies where they didn't really know they were going to make a sequel set 20 years later, so the first isn't even a period piece. It's just, oh, it's 20 years later. How do you tell? Because we said it was. That's how.
So here's the other thing that's unbelievable about this is that they paint Rob Layton as like a very well-connected lawyer. You don't believe that he buys a kid shoes and like checks up on the kid every once in a while to see how he's doing, especially if they live in the same town.
Well, that's what a sane, sensible Good Samaritan would do, but not in movie land where Good Samaritans don't follow up with people and don't give a shit. I don't know, man.
Did we ever say, by the way, that Megan is Rebecca Gayheart as the actress?
I did say that.
Yeah.
I did say that, yeah.
We must mention throughout all of this, this is painted with the biggest, wettest, most maudlin brush possible. And it's just terrible, which I assume you, the dear listener, figured out from the drop. But, yeah, it's real bad. Everything.
Yeah.
Literally everything.
Also, we definitely missed the scene where Charlie shows Nathan his mom's shoes, and Nathan has like a Vietnam flashback.
Yes. It's hard to put these scenes in order because they could go in any order as well.
Just about.
The kid collapses halfway through the movie, and they're like, that kid's gonna die soon. And then the movie keeps going on anyway.
Right. Like, the kid gets better. So okay.
He gets the medicine he needs.
Just like the first film, it plays that game with you where you're like, okay, I know something bad's going to happen to somebody, and it starts toying with you. So like the kid gets better, and you're like, oh, that must have been the fake out. Okay, something else is going to happen down the road. Well, just fucking hold on.
Charlie goes watches his teacher give him a private dance at her house for no literal. I don't understand why this scene exists.
Okay, so
she
Charlie's
explains
dad...
Fred Astaire to him, and then she dances, and he's like, I guess this is supposed to be like his closure, like he's figuring out about his mom before he passes, but come on. Spoiler alert.
Well, so the scene right before that, he was asking his dad all these questions about his mom, like what kind, like, how tall was mom? What kind of color hair did she have? And he's like, I don't know, your mom was a dancer. Oh, what kind of dancer was she?
He's writing an essay,
yeah. What kind of dancer was she? He's like, I don't know, it's kind of like that Fred guy. Fred who? And then his dad goes, go ask your teacher. Smash cut to the kid at night going to his teacher's house to ask her that question. And so then she explains who Fred Astaire is to him, and then NPH drives up and just watches her dance in her living room in front of this child.
And then NPH goes up to her the next day. It's like, so I was staring through your window last night.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bad look for everybody, pretty much.
But then, like, in the same scene where like, Nathan drives Charlie home, then Charlie shows him the shoes, and Charlie's like, where did you get Anakin Skywalker's lightsaber? And the kid's like, that's not important right now.
Oh, boy. This is, we must stress, this is all in the last half of this movie. Nothing happens in the first half of this movie.
And also, to the point, NPH is not like, oh, those look like my mom's shoes. He is like, those are my mom's shoes. So how does it work in his head that, like
he's already on the case of what happened to the shoes?
Yeah, like, oh, these shoes disappeared within the past few years, but your mom, who left years and years ago, was a famous dancer with these shoes?
Why wouldn't they have just buried her in the shoes?
That's my question.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's like, I thought she was supposed to wear them to look pretty to meet Jesus, and they're just like, oh, let's, empty her pockets, take her boots before we bury her, take her boots and hat.
These for 57
Listen,
copper and a short sword of the bear.
Listen, these shoes that literally fell off the back of a turnip truck are too valuable and too expensive to just put in the ground, okay? We need to take them back, put them in a safe place. Maybe in 20 years, they'll be worth something. No.
Or should they prayed on it, and Jesus was like, look, you gotta lose the shoes. Like, I talked to my dad, he said those shoes no.
He said those shoes no. Guys, can we please stop talking? Oh, this movie.
Okay, no, because the actual real sad thing is about to happen.
This quote unquote sad.
Jesus is just like, my dad just installed some new hardwood, get some non-marking soles, we can make it work, otherwise you gotta come in socks.
Yep. Yep.
I feel like I feel like the Christs run a strictly shoes off at the front door household. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Brett. Do you think God's last name is Christ?
Yes.
Did you call?
What do you think
Jesus
it is?
Christ?
Did you call? Did you
His
call
last
the
name
whole
is Christ?
the whole family? Like his name is Jehovah Christ. Man,
God
we're
Christ.
so
There's
going to
God
hell
Christ.
for saying this name.
There's God Christ, there's Jesus Christ, and there's Holy Spirit Christ.
Mom Christ is Holy Spirit Mom Christ?
No.
Okay.
It's the Holy Ghost. Holy Ghost Christ.
Oh, the Holy Ghost Christ is like that cousin that no one likes to talk about, right?
From my time in church, everybody of Wicked loves to talk about Holy Ghost Christ.
Did you see what that Holy Ghost Christ got up to last week? Yeah, fucking disgrace, right?
Ended up on live PD. Oh, just the worst. Anyways,
Leave room for the Holy Spirit, especially on live TV.
No. Where were we?
Okay.
Shoes.
Nathan's dad has a heart-to-heart with Charlie's dad at a bar, where basically they talk about how,
They're both members of the Dead Wives Club.
they're both members of the Dead Wives Club. But also, their kids have their whole lives ahead of them, and we should just stand out of the way and let them do what they're going to do. And whatever. Okay, fine.
Not
next
technically
scene.
true.
Yeah, because the dad still has plenty of things he could do in his own life. Like he's still planning to get rid of the shop, right?
Well, I'm talking more about Deadbeat Dad and
Yeah,
his son, whose days are numbered at this point, and is still hanging out at a bar.
Well, we don't know that yet.
Well,
Because the very next, let's just
Let's
stop
be a little bit fairer to the deadbeat dad than the movie is. Again, with assuming good faith on people, it's very clear that the dude was completely fucked up by his wife leaving him, let alone his wife dying.
Yes.
He's not over any of that shit. But the movie doesn't let him have any breathing room to grieve at all, or to even express any of this.
no, they paint him as a really bad dude, except right up until the end when his kid is literally, spoiler alert, on his deathbed. But
yeah. So
guy's gone through a lot of shit. So
you would think that scene would be about two grieving husbands, commiserating over losing their wives and still not being able to get over it. But no, it's about what do we do with our kids, right?
yeah,
Which is kind of the wrong thing to talk about at that point. But who cares about that? Because in the very next scene, Megan passes out for seemingly no reason. And the
after a
doctor's
jog.
after a jog, and the doctor's smash cut to the doctor's telling Nathan she has cirrhosis and hepatitis B, and she needs a liver transplant.
She got a bad liver.
And also, I want to point out, they say about Charlie, oh no, we can't do a heart transplant on him.
Yes, he's not a good candidate.
Which I don't see how if you're playing this game, how a grown adult is a more viable candidate for a transplant than a child.
So, should we just get into it? Should we just get into the last part of this movie?
Okay, yeah. So the end of the
within 35 seconds of her falling ill, guess who else falls ill again?
it's Charlie.
It's Charlie. And this time, apparently, the medicine doesn't work anymore. He can't make it. His heart's too bad.
And we get half a dozen scenes where Charlie talks to people about heaven and God and
His mom and the shoes. Here, can you give these shoes to my teacher?
I was kind of the impression that you would lie to a kid in this situation just to make it easier for everyone to swallow. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, when he gives the picture of his mom to her.
No,
him?
you don't tell a kid, hey, you're dying. You tell a kid, hey, you're sick, but you'll get better, champ. You don't tell them that get better means die.
Yeah, I mean, also they reveal that his mom is dead because he's like, oh, I'm gonna go meet mom in heaven.
Right.
Yeah, which, did he know this all along and was just playing along for his dad's sake then, or?
I think that's giving the writers, again, too much credit, but...
Well, it's also the scene where he's talking to Nathan and he's like, hey Nathan, what's your mom look like? I'll tell her you said, hey, what's up?
Yeah. So, here's...
But then also we meet Rob Lowe again, and we discover that no, Rob Lowe straight up did not remember Nathan at all because he fucking says it to his face.
This is also the point of the movie. I must mention this. This is absolutely worth mentioning. The DVD that Joseph Wade bought. You can bleep that out.
Can you stop saying that?
the DVD that Joey Wade paid real money for censors out the phrase, "Oh my God."
Well, I was thinking it was Plex skipping a couple times too, but there's several times where characters say "damn" that gets censored as well.
Yeah, I was wondering about those gaps. But
Yeah, there's a bit where Charlie's dad says like every damn holiday, and they bleep out the word "damn."
They don't bleep out hell though. They don't bleep out the old HE double hockey sticks.
Oh, because you can go there. You can't go to damn. You can go to hell.
You can't go to damn, but you can go to
as
hell.
hell can't talk about hell if you can't say hell.
I guess that's true.
It's true.
All right.
So basically, we this wraps itself up in a nice tiny little bow pretty quick because so Charlie's back in the hospital. He's not going to make it, but he's got a pretty good liver that could definitely go to Megan, who has a bad liver, and that just writes itself. They wrote themselves into a corner, and they turned 90 degrees and said, "Let's write ourselves out of the corner."
Here's my question. I assume that they have the same blood type or whatever it is. I don't know how transplant surgery works.
It's oddly convenient.
Why couldn't they have done it the other way around and Megan gives Charlie her heart?
That's what I was asking, yeah. How is this adult a more viable transplant candidate?
My assumption was that whatever was wrong with his heart that made his heart too large also made his chest cavity
sizes too large.
Yeah. The half man's heart grew 3 sizes that day. Exploded out of his chest. No, but whatever caused his heart to be too big also made his chest cavity, not viable for a regular heart. Or maybe he's just a kid and a grown adult's heart would be too big for him. I don't know.
I guess it's real bad though.
It's awfully convenient is all I'm going to say.
So, the only explanation is just he's not a candidate.
So you dear listeners, you know exactly where we're going with this. Charlie passes away and gives his liver to his teacher Megan, who lives to see another day.
She lives to die another day, as Madonna would say.
And then
we basically smash cut to the benefit concert.
No, we don't.
We don't. We don't.
Robert Langdon shows up to the hospital looking for clues, and he meets Nathan. Is like, "Oh yeah, you're the kid with the shoes. I remember you now. Hey, here's some money for your friend, so she can make that stupid house she wants to make. Bye."
Yes, yep. Robert Layton shows up, and yet, even though he's given her the entire sum of money they need for a daycare, they still hold a benefit where Blake Sheldon is playing.
Yeah. So hey, if you had told me that the sexiest man alive was going to be in this movie, I would not have fucking believed you. I would have said, "Oh, Rob Lowe's in this movie." No, Blake fucking Shelton, 2017's sexiest man alive, appears for 2 seconds at the end of this movie.
They let Nick Nolte be sexiest man alive. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
So there's a benefit that's being held for kid. Well, let me just say the name of this daycare is Kids House. Kids House.
Because they legally cannot say the Ronald McDonald House.
And this is
Kids House.
So they're all at the benefit and they're all hugging and loving on each other, and Charlie's dead. And Blake Sheldon comes out and they give a speech. So Megan gives a speech, and I wrote this word for word. I'm going to give you an idea. This is the big emotional speech at the end of the film that Megan gives to the crowd. I wrote it word for word. I'm going to read it for you here right now.
This better not be fucking I'm looking for a bento box, I swear.
Oh, that'd be so good. Why didn't I think of that? No, this is actually it. That's too good, though.
20 years on, and we're fucking like we're cheating on each other with each other.
She still bones my dick. No. Thank you so much for coming. Tonight is about raising money for the kids' house. I would like to name the kids' house Charlie's House in honor of a very special little boy. Charlie wasn't in this town for very long, but he touched lives. I know he touched mine. He gave me my life back. Charlie, I love you. Blake! That is the entirety of the emotional last act speech in this film.
I figured it out. They took the giant bag of money that Rob Lowe gave them and was like, hey, what if instead of spending this on the house, we invested it in some special guest stars and make even more money?
So they spent $20 and hired the band New Song to play for like 5 minutes.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
And then they
spent
$20,000 for Blake Shelton to show up and say 2 words. And to sing that song, Nobody But Me, from fucking Kill Bill Volume 1. That's a Human Beings cover, right? I don't know. I don't know Blake Shelton songs.
Do you think either of us do?
I'm expecting our listeners to know that I'm making a joke.
Okay.
Blake Shelton shows up, does a cover of Ballroom Blitz.
Yeah.
And that's roll credits.
The band started leaving because they all stopped breathing. Because this is what happens in Christmas Shoes movies.
Ugh.
Everyone dies so fucking Rob Lowe can learn a lesson.
That's Christmas Shoes 2, everybody. It's a mess.
Murder
It's a
my balls.
It's a movie that exists, and you can go watch it if you really, truly hate yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Incredibly 2005, in that a bunch of people die so somebody can learn a lesson about life. This is a fucking Saw sequel.
One of the last things I'll note is that like one of the last like sad moments we see is where Charlie's dad like is in their house and he puts on the hat that he gave his son that is also Nathan's hat from the first movie.
At the end of the first movie, Nathan was wearing it and left the shoes on the grave, but no one remembers that.
Yeah. If this is a CBS made for TV movie, Grandma does definitely not remember that.
Guys, I think we have to see this through. I think we have to watch the last Christmas Shoes movie.
Yeah, we already said we were doing that.
I know.
Yeah,
but
well, we're not. We have made no illusions about the fact that we were not touching this again for another 5 years. We're getting this done now.
We must kill it.
Or at least in 2 weeks.
Now, yes.
So, okay. That's all off the table. Right now, we have to go straight to the crankometer. This is our patented XY axis where we rate Christmas movies on how Christmassy a film is, the X-axis, and how good a film is, the Y-axis. So, gentle friends, I ask you, how Christmassy is The Christmas Blessing?
It's not. It's so bad. It's not Christmassy at all. Christmas is incidental to this entire film.
Christmas is incidental.
Incidental. Could have happened on Memorial Day.
Could have happened on Cinco de Mayo. Might as well have happened on Cinco de Mayo.
Probably would have tied in a little bit better on it, a little bit more cleanly, honestly.
And if it had taken place in Texas in San Antonio on Cinco de Mayo, it would have made more sense.
Yes.
If Neil Patrick Harris had left New England and moved to Texas and met Megan there in Texas, sure, fine. I get it. Makes sense to me. Hey, welcome to Santa's Workshop, everybody. We're doing this now. It
would have been better if it was a Texas-themed film.
It would have been better if it was the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but that's beside the point.
I'm going to go ahead and give this I'm going to say a -4 or a -5.
You know, I don't even know that I even want to go into negative digits because it's not like it uses Christmas badly. It does. Does it though? Does it even use Christmas at all?
Yeah, it just uses it as a cynical framing device to do a sequel to a bad movie, make a bad movie.
I mean, that's fair. I'll give you that one.
But it doesn't teach you the wrong lesson about Christmas, which is what I try to save negatives for.
Okay.
For Christmas movies. For Christmassy shit.
So let me ask this of you gents.
Okay.
Most movies try to impart some sort of theme or moral. What theme or moral is this movie even trying to impart?
The same moral as any Christian movie. God has a plan, so shut the fuck up.
You know what? That's pretty good. I'm gonna give you that one.
That's about as good as I could come up with, which is why I wouldn't. That's why I want to go into the negatives. Let's maybe go with a -2.
Okay, I'll give you a -2. But also,
I'll say that from starting with a movie like Christmas Shoes, where it's incredibly fucking Christmassy, like all around, this movie is only set at Christmas because the first one was, because you have to put Christmas in the title, and if you have Christmas in the title and don't make it set at Christmas, that's kind of weird.
So you're
Yes.
saying this is basically the Die Hard 2 of Christmas Shoes movies?
Yeah.
Like they felt like they had to repeat the formula because that's what everybody expects them to do?
Yes.
So Rob Lowe as Al?
Yes. Honestly, that's actually a pretty good. This movie compares so well to like other big blockbuster movies that I'm kind of insulted by it. Like, yeah, it's kind of a shitty Star Wars movie. Yeah, it's kind of a shitty Die Hard movie. Yeah,
Hey,
it's
Joe.
kind of a shitty Final Destination movie. Yes, sir.
Hey, Joe.
Yeah.
Die Hard is the Christmas no shoes.
Take them off.
I
Feel
hate
the carpet between your toes. Change your socks. Cure jet lag.
I'm gonna make fists with my toes and punch you with my feet. Okay.
Subscribe
Yeah.
to our Patreon to see a video of that.
You know what? Okay. -2. Why not? You convinced me. Now, here's the real main event. The y-axis. How good is the Christmas blessing? Gentlemen.
It wasted my life.
It's just a nat 5.
It wasted my life.
It's the only thing this movie gets right is just completely fucking disregarding anybody who's watching its time. This could have been, it's so bad. It's so bad, Joe.
I know.
Like,
and
they don't respect me as a viewer, but at least they also don't respect themselves as, like, creators, so.
It's like, what did we rate Christmas in the Ice Cream Bunny?
That's a good question.
Because that, I feel, is, like, completely media for the sense of, like, the sake of media. Like, you may as well be staring at, like, static on a screen. It is literally
Santa
there
the
to
Ice Cream
take up
Bunny is like,
space. Say what?
Hey, I got this. Santa the Ice Cream Bunny is like, hey, I got this sleigh and this bunny suit. Let's make something happen.
That was a -5 on the crankometer. So.
All right, this has to be a -5 as well, because this is way worse. Like, I think I might rather watch Santa and the Ice Cream Bunny than this.
At least it has that weird 70s Jack and the Beanstalk bullshit in it.
Yeah, exactly. There's, like, at least something going on where you're like, I have no idea what's going to happen next.
Okay, here's me trying to argue to at least give it a point so that it's a -4. Okay?
Whoa, are you going to pull a Santa Buddies on us like I did on Santa Buddies?
Probably. No, I'm not. I'm just going to say this. This was directed by a woman named Karen Arthur, who apparently, I just learned this today, was the first woman to ever win a Primetime Emmy Award for directing television.
For this?
No, not for this. She won it
Okay.
for Cagney and Lacey, of all things. This movie, at least over Christmas Shoes, actually looks like a real movie. And that's way more credit than I can say I can give for the original Christmas Shoes. So
Are you
stylistically,
Mhm.
visually, I will say it looks like a real movie. It does not play like one.
Okay. You are somebody who knows a lot more about movies than I do. I'm willing to give you, yes, let's go to a -4. It did look like a movie. It looked like a movie in the same respect that somebody who murders somebody and skins them with an X-Acto knife and wears their skin looks like that person. Yes, this is a movie.
That's all the credit I can reasonably give this film.
and let's give it up for ladies.
It doesn't look, it's not a bad looking film, but in
We-
every other respect, I cannot sanction this film's buffoonery. It's made by someone who at least knows what they're doing visually.
It's not
From-
good.
From a story perspective, from an acting perspective, from a writer's perspective, no, absolutely no.
But from a cinematography
From a cinnamon bun perspective, yeah.
cinnamon bun perspective. All right, I'm willing to go up to a -4.
So does that, have we settled? Is this a -2, -4?
If I say yes, can we stop talking about it?
Yes. Yes. Okay. This is a -2, -4. Booker, please put this in like a bright relief on the crankometer. I don't know.
I will say, somehow, not the worst movie I've ever seen, but it's not good.
It's no Santa Claus and the Ice Cream Bunny.
Fair enough.
It's no Christmas Shoes.
There you go.
You know, I'm trying to find the original crankometer that we had, so that I can even at least see, like, oh, here it is. Okay. Christmas Shoes we rated. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
I think a 5 -4 probably.
A 4 -5.
I was close.
So we said it was pretty darn Christmassy, but also the worst you could possibly do.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So this is almost at the mirror reverse end of that axis. It's a -2, -4.
Yeah,
Pretty
and I'll say
bad.
I'll
Pretty bad.
I'll feel that. Like, it doesn't. The faults it has with Christmas are more because it has to be at Christmas because it's a sequel to Christmas Shoes.
Yeah.
And I will even like forgive it a point because the horrible beats it has in it are because it's a sequel to Christmas Shoes.
But still, it has to be noted, the horrible beats all happen within like 10 minutes of each other at the end of the film.
The pacing in this film is just fucking awful. You could have spaced that out a lot better.
Like, okay, I think they knew this was a TV movie, so they knew the entire first hour of this film was just padding to sell ad space on TV. Because absolutely nothing happens. This could have been a half-hour special, and it would have been maudlin and still terrible, but you know what? Whatever. It's half an hour.
That makes me want to detract a point somewhere, because, ugh.
Oh,
it's so bad.
It's -5. Fuck it. It's -5.
Removing an hour for wasting our time. Okay, you know what? I'll give you that too. Let's go back to -5. Sorry, Booker. Change
Thank
plans.
you.
This is a -2, -5. Fuck them.
See, this is part of the problem. This is absolutely, this film is the definition of media for the sake of media. We at CBS have a our Christmas block last year was 16 hours of Christmas programming, and we're looking to increase that to 18 hours of Christmas programming. What can we get to fill that time with ad space, with high viewing hours of our target demographic of women between the ages of 35 to 65? How about we make a sequel to that Christmas Shoes film?
And let's not even mention because we haven't yet, the fact that this is also based off of a new song that we haven't even discussed.
Yeah, New Song does a song in this film.
Yes, but the song is called "The Christmas Blessing," and if we were a smarter, better podcast, we would have looked up that song to see how that song compares to the movie. But
it's more like the Christmas Coincidence.
But life is short, and I'd rather be playing video games.
Yes.
But also,
how is it a blessing that a child dies?
It's not. It's absolutely not, because a young woman can live and dance another day.
That's fucked up.
That's the worst. Yeah, it's absolutely the worst.
All I'm gonna say, that's super messed up. That child had the rest. Half man had the rest of his life in front of him, and Megan was already Peggy Hill. And while Peggy Hill is cool, it's a child we're talking about. That's messed up, dude. You don't kill a child in a Christmas movie, and yet they did. They did.
You know what? That's really the bottom line here. They killed a child in a Christmas movie to teach an adult a lesson.
See, here's the thing. Other than, like, NPH says, oh, I'm going back into pediatrics. Who learns anything from this? And the dad is like, oh, well, maybe I should have spent more time with my kid. And I did in the last 15 minutes of his life. Who learns anything? Tell me.
No, nobody. Because, like, we don't get closure from the kid's dad. We don't get closure from Nathan's dad. We don't really get any closure from Megan at all.
No.
Nobody. And Rob Lowe is just kind of like the magical lawyer that saves the day for everybody.
He just kind of looks on knowingly during the Blake Shelton concert, and that's it. No, but
I thought he looked uncomfortable during the Blake Shelton concert. Like, he was like, is the camera still on me? Can I go?
Can I go? No. Here's my ultimate question to you. This film kills a child to make a point or a theme.
I shot a kid.
Well, you know what I mean. Anyways, In the plot of this film, a child dies, and does anybody learn anything or have any truly transformative moment?
No.
They open up a daycare center because a kid died.
They open up a daycare center that probably would have eventually gotten funded anyways.
Yes.
Does anybody learn anything or live their lives better because of Half-Man dying?
Neil Patrick Harris goes back into his medical practice because he, I guess, also doesn't want any children to die ever again, so the cycle fucking renews.
That's what Christmas Shoes 3 is going to be about, as he loses a kid on the table.
So let's talk about Christmas Shoes 3 real quick. I just want to give you a preview of a taste of things to come off of the cast list.
Oh,
Okay.
no.
So James Remar and Madeline Stowe play Mark and Patricia Addison. Ian Ziering and Rebecca Gibson play Nathan and Megan Andrews. So this is another jump 10 years into the fucking future.
This is all Greek to me. I don't know a single one of these people.
No, so what Jonathan is saying is that they completely recast Nathan and Megan, and also they're married in this film, in the third film now.
Oh,
and also
boy.
because Ian Ziering is 10 years older than NPH, this has to be set years after this last one.
Well,
All right, gents. Is that going to do it?
that's your preview for what's coming in episode 99 of Christmas Creeps. We will be returning to the world of the Christmas shoes, but we've got 2 weeks to gird our loins for that business.
Here's
road
an
to
important
100.
question. What if we could choose one James Remar movie, one James Remar sequel to watch next week or 2 weeks from now? Would you rather watch A Christmas Hope or Mortal Kombat Annihilation?
Obviously, Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
That one. I've not seen a single Mortal Kombat film, and I would watch Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Brad, I genuinely think you would enjoy the first Mortal Kombat.
Maybe I'll check that out.
It is a fun time.
Oh man, fuck that. Speaking of James Remar sequels, we can just watch Too Fast, Too Furious. How about we do that next time instead?
You're trying to get out of this, but we are stuck in, my friend. This is the road
Yeah,
to 100.
Jonathan has entered the bargaining phase at lightning speed.
This is the road to 100. There ain't no brakes on this crazy train, friend.
No sirree, Bob. So yeah, that's gonna have to do it for Christmas Creeps. I don't think we can rightly discuss the agony and tortures that await us in the next episode. So let's just cut it short now. So if you are interested in chatting about any of this with us, we are on Twitter at Christmas Creeps. We are on YouTube and iTunes and Google Play and Stitcher, all kinds of podcatchers out there. Go check them out. Go subscribe, tell a friend, leave reviews, all that fun stuff. Email us anything you want to talk to us about at xmascreeps@gmail.com. Is there anything I'm leaving out or forgetting? Any final parting thoughts, gentlemen?
Don't watch this movie. Seek help. There are better things to do with your time.
Okay.
I will
Somebody
be whispering
banging
a
on a
quiet
piano?
wish to a god that a lunatic will come and eat me. That would be one of my cats getting into things, which I think it's time to go then.
Oh.
That sounds like it's time to go then, yes. So until next time, friends, I have been Joseph Wade.
I'm Bradford.
I gotta go take care of this cat problem.
Good night, everybody. We will see you bright and early next time for the Christmas Hope.
I've never not looked forward to an episode as much as this. Why did I decide to come back to this podcast?
Because you're a glutton for punishment and we love you.
Yes, I am. Punish this hog. I've been a very bad boy.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Happy Christmas. Happy Christmas. Happy Christmas.